All right, we're back. Different topic, squeaky chair. We're at it again. Here we go. This one's another, maybe not, yeah, another controversial topic that just came up in the news. And, when I was reading this article, I thought to myself, you know what? I just either don't have enough information about that topic or something. Because, once again, it just seems like common sense would prevail, and it doesn't seem like in my circumstance I'm either smart enough to understand what's going on or I don't have all the information. So the topic is transgendered bathrooms. All right. So now some will agree with what I'm about to say and some will disagree, right? So make a comment in it. I'll reply to your comment or whatever, or another topic that you want to discuss that's in regard to this or whatever it is. Just comment below and we'll get at it. All right. So now, what are the arguments? The arguments is one: you have a men's room, you have a women's room. That's who goes in those bathrooms. Men go into men's, the women's go into women's, and that's that. The other side of the argument is that if I feel like, not feel like, if I believe, if I know that I'm a man, no matter how I look or whatever in my inner self, then I can use the men's room. And if I feel like I'm a woman as my inner self, or believe that I'm a woman, or whatever, then I can use the woman's room, right? And so, or even whatever I feel like at the moment. If I feel like a man, I'll go to the men's room. If I feel like a woman, I'll go to the woman's room, no matter how I'm dressed, no matter how I look, whatever. Those are that's one side of the argument. I would assume that's one side of the argument. Correct me if I'm wrong. The other side of the argument is like, oh my God, okay, so if anyone can go into any bathroom, like if you can have men in women's bathrooms, like what about the children? You know what I mean? What about like the kids that are going into these bathrooms and now there's going to be a man in the bathroom? Like, what do you do about that? Well, on that point, I'll say that men can go in any bathroom. They just walk in. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing stopping men right now from going into bathrooms. You know what I mean? Like, there's no alarms that go off. There's no police that show up. There's no anything. If a man walks into a woman's bathroom, what happens? Nothing. People may gasp and be like, oh my God, there's a man in here. But, there's nothing stopping them now. So it wouldn't make sense to say, like, if you just say men are only allowed in men's bathrooms, well, then there'll be no debauchery going on in women's bathrooms anymore because men just aren't allowed in there and they don't want to break the law, so they won't go in there. That's just not a sound argument to make. So, so what is a sound argument to make? Well, here's the way I look at the use of bathrooms. So if you're a man and you're going to the men's room, you walk into the bathroom, you go to a urinal, and there's certain etiquette that happens when you're at a urinal. You know what I mean? You don't look to your left or your right. You keep your head straight ahead. Like you mind your own business and you just do your thing. Then when you're done doing your thing, you go and you walk over to the sinks and you wash your hands. And that's kind of the only place that anyone sees anybody else or greets anybody else or any of that other stuff. Washing your hand, see a guy through the mirror, he's washing his hands. Hey, how you doing, man? Whatever. So, how about that weather? Or whatever, right? And then everyone goes about their business. If a man comes into the men's room to use the stall, well, then he walks in and goes into a stall and closes the door behind him and he does his thing, right? So there's no time when men cross paths in stalls. It just doesn't happen when just two people are going to use the restroom. So that's the story on the men's room. With the women's room, and this is just all speculation because I'm obviously, well, not obviously, but I'm not a woman because I'm telling you I'm not. Contrary to what my looks may say, but or what you think I might be, I'm not a woman. But so in my expert opinion, well, probably not even an expert opinion, but just in my opinion alone, what I would say is that in the ladies' room, when a woman goes to use the restroom, she goes into a stall, closes the door, and then does whatever she has to do. And then she comes out of the stall and she goes to the sink, and at no time other than at the sink, and I'm assuming that's when, greetings or pleasantries are exchanged there at the sink. Hey, how you doing? Whatever. And then they go on about their business. So at no time in either one of these scenarios are women being subject to seeing other naked women, or seeing women in a compromising position or any of that stuff. And men at no time are subject to seeing other men in a compromised or half dressed or vulgar position or anything like that. So let's just say, right, you have the men's room, you have the ladies' room. Let's just say in the middle, you had just a bathroom, right? Just a bathroom. Anyone wants to go in there, they can go in there. There's 10 stalls, there's 10 urinals, right? Anyone who wants to go in there goes in there. So now a woman walks into that bathroom. She walks in and she goes into a stall. She does her thing, and that's that. A man walks in and he goes to the bathroom, or he walks into the bathroom, and he walks to one of the urinals. In my guesstimation, a man and a woman both going to the bathroom at the same time in the same room would never cross paths, right? They'd never cross paths in that scenario. Well, let's say that there's a man going to use a stall and a woman going to use a stall, and they're using the stalls next to each other. Well, if you have a full stall and all that stuff, not like with a 2-inch cutout below or any of that other stuff, just a full stall, there'd really be no way for a man to tell that there's a woman using a restroom next to him, or a woman to tell that there's a man using a restroom. They're just going and doing it. And the only time that they would cross paths, whether they're using the urinal or using the stalls, is when they go to the sinks. And at the sinks, I would imagine probably in the beginning, there might be a little bit of like awkward and weirdness, because guys just don't normally find themselves in a bathroom with a woman, and women don't find themselves normally in a bathroom with a man. But there was no nudity or anything that was out of line or any kind of craziness that happened, because everyone's in their own secluded areas and all that stuff. So when you get to the sink, of course, the embarrassment of just being like, yeah, I just finished going to the bathroom, whatever. But the same pleasantries would happen. Hey, how you doing? How's the weather? Blah blah blah, and they would go on about their business. I don't think that it would take very much time for people to realize that no one cares. I don't think it would take much time to realize that women use the bathroom, men use the bathroom. It's really not that big of a deal. Everyone can come and go as they please or whatever. So now if you add to that the transgender part of it, would it really make a difference if a guy who is a woman goes in and stands at a urinal? Which I don't even know if that's how that works. I don't know if transgendered women that were once men use urinals, or if they go into the stall and do whatever they do in there, or I'm not sure how it works. But if you were in if you were in a bathroom that's not man, not female, it's just a bathroom, and a person walked in who looked like a woman and walked into a stall, you would have no idea if they were really a woman, if they were not a woman, if whatever. Just that's what it looked like that went in. If a transgendered man walked in, obviously, I would assume, because once again I don't know the answers, a transgendered man, if the surgery was complete, would go to the urinal and do their thing, which at the same time is if a guy was a guy and if a transgender guy was at a urinal and a regular guy was at a urinal and they were both doing their thing, there would be no way of saying like, oh my God, I think that's not a man. And even if somebody thought that, what would they say? They wouldn't say anything. They'd just be like, oh, well, there's someone using a urinal next to me, or two down, or whatever. Would anyone really care? And then once again, at the bathrooms, at the sinks, there's a exchange, or there's not an exchange. I've been into plenty of bathrooms where there's 50 people in there and no one mutters a word to each other. It's like a library. It's completely silent. You know what I mean? So that's not saying that, there'd be any embarrassment at all. I walk into bathrooms, I go to the bathroom, I leave. I don't care who's in there. I could not care less, So if a transgendered man who didn't have the surgery walked in there and, walked into a stall, everyone just assumed that it's a guy and he's handling his business. Nobody would say like, oh my God, I think that might be a woman. There's not enough discussion that goes on in a bathroom with anybody to say like, hey, did you see that? I mean, literally, I think that a man could walk in a skirt and a beard and, whatever, and tap shoes, and no one would care. You know what I mean? There's so many weird things that happen in life that the last thing we need to be concerned with is who's using what bathroom. Like, does it really make any difference at all? Like, at all? And I venture to say that it really doesn't. Nobody really cares. So I don't understand what the argument is. I don't understand why. Why? The only argument I guess I can understand is, what if a man, like a man, you know what I mean? Like a man that looks like a man, completely looks like a man, says that he's a woman and just wants to go and hang out in a woman's bathroom. Well, that would be weird, you know what I mean? And I'm sure that, you know, that would be few and far between, and that would be handled differently. A woman would come out of the bathroom like, there's a guy that's been in there for like an hour, you know what I mean? And you know, whatever. But just in the grand scheme of people using the bathroom, I don't see where that would be an issue. I don't see where it'd be an issue at all. You know, I think it's kind of like the nude beach concept, where like if you've never been to a nude beach, you go on a nude beach and you're like, oh my God, this is so crazy. Everybody here is naked. That's nuts. But if you went to a nude beach every single day for a year, you know, after a little while, you'd be like, yeah, everybody here is naked. Who cares? It's like the same thing every day. We come to a nude beach every single day. It's the same thing. It's not that big of a deal. And I think the same concept would happen if you just, could you imagine if all of a sudden you just didn't have a men's room and a ladies' room and it was just a bathroom? And you just went in, there was stalls and urinals and whatever, and everyone just came and went and did their thing? No one would even care. So I don't understand the controversy. I don't understand what the big deal is. Just open all bathrooms up to everybody. And whoever goes in and goes in. And if there turns out to be problems, well, then you solve those problems when it happens. But I don't see the harm in everyone using all the bathrooms. Now, if there was a time, or there was bathrooms where you walked in and everybody shared everything about them, like, all right, well, there's a red line, you got to get naked, and then you go to walk over to the urinal. Well, then that would be awkward. That'd be crazy because everyone's put into a different scenario or something. But that's not the case. Nobody comes across and sees anything about anybody else. Everything is completely PG. No matter in your men's bathroom, your women's bathroom, in any bathroom. Completely, 100%, all taken care of. So I think the solution to the problem is, it's not that you have a men's bathroom and then a woman's bathroom and then a bathroom that's like has that transgender sign where it's like the man sign with the arrow and the woman sign, I don't even know what they are, with the cross or whatever it is, but you know what I'm talking about. To where now you have to add a third bathroom to what's going on. I think instead of having 3 bathrooms, instead of having 2 bathrooms, just have one, and we'll all be able to figure it out. And if not, if you can't figure out that you don't want to share a bathroom with a man or a woman or transgendered men or women or whatever, just wait till you get home. Wait till you get home, use the bathroom there. And that's the solution to the problem. Solution to the problem, one bathroom for all, or no bathrooms for anybody, and everyone has to wait until they get home. Problem solved. You're welcome.